The man came to the forest just to hunt, but he unexpectedly found a wild woman pulling him in the middle of the river not far away. But just as he was watching with great interest, the wild woman suddenly caught a big fish and started to devour it in the next second. Seeing this, Nick was not only not afraid, but even had a strong desire to conquer this wild woman. So he followed her quietly all the way. After confirming the cave where she lived, Nick also had a terrible idea. In order to take this treasure girl for himself, he lurked above the cave without moving. Until the wild woman went out to look for food, Nick saw the opportunity to cast the fishing net, knocked the wild woman unconscious, and then carried her home and imprisoned her and locked up her limbs tightly. Nick, who could no longer hold back, Nick began to touch the old dirt on the other person's body. He smelled an indescribable body odor, which instantly made him dizzy and turned away. Although the female savage was extremely dirty, her facial features were still intact. He then checked the other person's teeth. Unexpectedly, the female savage suddenly woke up and bit off one of his fingers. Nick was in so much pain that he was dying. He was so angry that he no longer showed any mercy. Jade slapped the female savage hard. Unexpectedly, the female savage was full of dissatisfaction. This made Nick so angry that he kept attacking her. After slapping her 9,981 times, Nick was satisfied and went to treat the wound. In order to eliminate the wildness of the female savage, Nick, who had bandaged the wound, went to the female savage again. He took out a pistol and shot her in the ear. The deafening sound of the gun instantly caused the female savage to look. His ears suddenly lit up. He vented his anger at Nick. Nick pulled out his pistol again. Due to the truth in Nick's hand, the wild woman had no choice but to behave herself. Then Nick led his family to the warehouse to see today's harvest and said he would help the wild woman get rid of her wildness. The two daughters were confused after hearing this. They didn't understand why their father did this. Only the eldest son looked at the wild woman was so excited that her eyes lit up. In order to let the wild woman eat like a normal person, Nick asked his wife to bring a bowl of fried rice. However, the wild woman, who was used to eating raw fish and raw meat, looked down on this kind of food. She was so angry that she knocked over the rice bowl with her head. Seeing that the wild woman was so ignorant, Nick had to leave with his family. He decided to starve the wild woman for 10 days or half a month to polish her wildness. However, he didn't know that this behavior would cost them their lives, because the wild woman was not an ordinary wild woman, but a wolf girl raised by the Wolf King since she was a child. Her speed and attack power were at the ceiling level. The next morning, the family came to the warehouse with buckets of water.